Happy Friday, leaders. Welcome to another end of week wind down. I am Dr. Tracy Simone, Queen of Clarity and Care, and your go-to strategist, facilitator, and coach, helping social impact leaders get unstuck so they can get things done and build a legacy that lasts. And today we are going to be talking about connection. I have one of my favorite people here with me today. I cannot wait for you to meet him, to learn from him. But before we do that, we are going to anchor in the anchor way like we always do. The Anchor Way is a leadership framework designed to help organizations move forward with clarity, connection, cohesion, and courage, even in turbulent waters. Let's take a closer look. Think about an organization like a boat. To move through uncertain waters, it will need to be well-built, well-guided, and well-powered. Every boat is built from something. At the foundation of every organization are three essential materials. Clarity, the shared understanding of where you are headed and why it matters. Connection, the trust, communication, and relationships that keep people interdependent upon one another and committed to the mission. And cohesion, the alignment between your values, your vision, and your daily decisions. This is what the boat itself is made of. Without it, the structure is fragile, no matter how powerful the engine or skilled the crew. Every boat needs a compass. In the Anchor Way, the compass represents your direction, your vision, your mission, and your strategic priorities. It helps you stay oriented even when external conditions shift. Next, the cargo, the actual work you're carrying, your programs, policies, culture, and commitments. The things you're delivering, building, protecting, or transforming. Finally, there's your crew, your people. From the executive team to the frontline leaders, the crew makes the journey possible. They need to be resourced, supported, and aligned to move forward together. Below the surface of every organization is the influence of the current, the external forces like policy shifts, funding pressures, or community needs that shape your course, whether you like it or not. And what propels the boat forward are two internal forces: care and courage. Care is how you lead with humanity. Courage is how you make hard decisions with integrity. Both are necessary to move through resistance and build something real. Every interview in this series is grounded in one or more parts of the Anchor Way, because we believe leadership isn't just about vision, it's about structure, systems, and soul. All right, leaders, today we have with us Chris. Chris is one of my former work besties that is still one of my besties, even outside of work. And we always check on each other. Chris is amazing. I had the opportunity to grow and learn and work with Chris in some very uncertain times and some very turbulent waters. And we led side by side together, and we have just stayed in contact ever since. I value his friendship. I value his wisdom. And I'm so excited that you get to meet him today and learn from him. So Chris, tell the people who you are. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Tracy Simone. Well, first and foremost, reflecting all of that back at you, you're one of the most amazing leaders I've gotten to work with. So really excited and delighted to be here. I'm a small organization leader, and the focus of my work has been really high change environment. So either pretty significant turnaround or high growth, be that startup or growth from another, from a midpoint of an organization. I'm repping a little bit on purpose my undergraduate school on my hat because I think it's a part of something unique that I bring to the organization, or to my work. My undergraduate degree is a BFA in theater, specifically in experimental theater, which you can shorthand as like a lot of rolling around on the floor. And then later I got an MBA. The MBA has been a pretty significant door opener and was a great resource for technical skill. But mostly what I use in my day-to-day is stuff I learned from being on my feet doing actors work, which, to go back to the Anchor Way, which that video, that was pretty cool. Right? It's all about connection, the tools of connection, listening, vulnerability, and then getting groups of people to do joint work together. Which, if you shorthand what we all do, what leadership is, to me, that's what it is. We're just a bunch of people. We're trying to do some stuff together. Turns out that's really hard, even though you can break it down to a pretty simple sentence.
Yes, it is very hard. It is much harder than rolling around on the floor together. Even though sometimes it does feel like we're rolling around on the floor together.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. So
So
delighted to be here today.
I am delighted to have you, and I'm excited to talk to you about connection, which and the anchor way we talk about is like trust, communication, and relationships. So let's start with the first question, which is, what does meaningful connection look like for you right now in your leadership?
Mm. Um, you know, think about attention. Um, I think about attention that just exists, and I think it's in your model, and it's in other models of sort of what does it take to run an organization or lead an organization. And it's this tension between, if we go back to the anchor way, to the between the building of the boat or the powering of the boat, those kind of sit together like in a very human thing, versus the like navigation of the boat, which I would say like captures in what other people who talk about leadership would broadly say it's strategy, right?
Hmm.
Um, and like, and there's this tension between it because it turns out if you start with a group of people and you want to do some work together, like that sounds fine and easy. Okay, let's go do the work. And it gets tense or difficult or complex as soon as there are just differences in the way that you would like to do that work, particularly when there are differences in sort of some of these core human elements of connection or relationship building, sort of like so that gets like values and norms, but it can also get to strategic differences. One of the things that drives that tension is the strategy side of this. I don't know, of this model. Right? So because the strategy side is what is pushing you to like, okay, well, we have to do things. We have to do things right now. We have to do things better than the other guy. We have to do things like it brings an intensity to it. And so then all of a sudden differences that might be in a low intensity situation easier to work out become really difficult to work out. And so um, there are lots of ways that this gets solved, and some of them have to do with like some of them are human based and really like health, I would call healthy and good for people, and some of them are the opposite, right? Some of them you can solve this problem by focusing on strategy and churning through people.
Hmm.
Organization will continue to exist and thrive. It's well, honestly, as somebody who likes to sit on the side of like, let's build healthy, functional systems of people that like work well and increase value in people's lives, including employees' lives. It sort of drives me. It really sort of gets under my skin that you don't have to do that to be a thriving business, and you just have to open the window to look and see any number of examples of like sort of dysfunctional on the connection or human side of things organizations that are still doing great.
Hmm.
Probably like our biggest iBank is essentially like working at Goldman Sachs is I don't think I think it's clear like what the rewards are. Like you get a lot of status and power and a ton of money.
Hmm.
I don't think anybody's like, I love my Goldman family. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe maybe Goldman people will message me after this and be like, you know what? You don't know. You're not. I'm totally willing to be wrong there. But from the outside, that's what it looks like. So this is all a roundabout way to come back to this question, which is to say, I think about connection as the the primary way that I am interested in resolving the conflicts that come up when you're chasing strategy, when you're getting a group of people to chase a specific strategy. Like I'm more interested in building that healthy, functional group of people chasing it, and what I think is the incredible like value add that comes out of that, like what you're able to do if that's what you invest in and what you focus on as a leader. I'm excited about that. I'm less excited about pure strategy plays that view people as an input value that's changeable or swappable in the equation.
It's like I'm hearing the delicate balance between like the strategy and the work and the humans and the people. And it sounds like for me, for you, it is let's make sure that people are healthy and are equipped to do the work because when they're okay, then the work just gets done well.
It gets done well. You find new and different ways to do the work. And yeah, it's also if you don't have the pockets of, it's easier to be, this is a weird truth, that it's easier to be kind of crummy to people if you have a lot of money.
Hmm.
If, because if that's the exchange, right? Like you get paid really well and you sort of put up with a lot. And that's a trade-off lots of people are willing to make.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't really want to be on that team very much. I'm really excited to be on a team like and do work like you and I have done work together, which is like we are here supporting each other, holding each other, pushing each other in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a practice of, connection. I'm going to say it's a practice of love, really. But
Have you been in both? Like, have you been like I know we have worked together in spaces where we have this work, but we also care for these people. But have you been in places where it's just like just to get the work done, and if we need to burn through people, that's what we do because we just need to make this money?
a little bit, but I don't, I mean, it really is a mismatch for me. So I don't stay long. And I'm
Hmm.
stubborn enough to just be like, "Ugh, I don't know, I'll take the risk and just get out." But yeah, I mean, definitely gave it a shot. Worked a little bit in like retail level, regional finance, um, and worked for, some small or sort of like the kind of jobs you get. I worked for, I mean, the kind of jobs you get like through college or after before you're really on a hard career path. I think I spent some more time in places like that.
Hmm.
It was a big, I'll keep, names out of it. It was, like there was a big international corporation I worked for a while and enjoyed the work I did. But, they were making a turn from being very people centered to being very strategy or product centered. And you could feel it. You could kind of feel the way the culture shifted. Um, and they were very successful, but it also became quickly a place that I was less interested in being in.
What draws you to reject that and to lean toward like spaces that honor and value connection? Like, what is it about that type of environment that makes Chris want to be there?
I mean, it's probably the same thing that made me go do this for an undergraduate degree instead of, chase something else. I think at the time when I made sort of choices that put me on this path, it was just like one felt good and one didn't.
Hmm.
In hindsight, I think it's that like I think connections with other people are like connecting with other people is like the breath of life. Like it's a thing that doesn't get old. It is constantly fascinating and rejuvenating, and even when it's uncomfortable, it's still like sort of blatantly good.
I love
So I
that.
keep going back to it.
I love that. I love that. You keep going back, even if it's uncomfortable because it's blatantly good. I love it. It's
Yeah.
juicy and delicious, huh?
Yeah, it just never gets. I mean, like yeah, you spend some time in your life and you find some pursuits, you find some things that you're into, and I feel like I have an experience a lot. I like to go try a lot of different things, and I have the experience a lot of like, you try something and like there's a thrill of it being new and of learning it, and then you sort of like get there and it's fine, but it kind of wears off.
Hmm.
And when I ask myself like, what is the thing that doesn't wear off that is just as exciting as it was this first time I like figured out it was happening, which is like connection with family when you're a kid, right?
Hmm.
Is this? It's just connecting with people.
So, how do you build trust in spaces? Like, how do you build that connection as a leader of a team? Like, how do you create this type of juicy, delicious connection that people keep wanting to come back to, even when it's challenging?
I love it. I love this question, and I think immediately about I spent some time while I was kind of figuring out how to make this transition from directing and producing theater to working in organizational leadership when I was running a small family business, help a family turn around like a bed and breakfast and inn. and rental property business on an island in Maine. And we had a regular guest who had been, he was like a sociology PhD. And his whole career was um, like going and doing training, leadership training with, Fortune 500 level companies, C-suites, giving talks and doing trainings. And he and I would chit chat. This is before I knew I would go into anything like this. I was like still figuring it out, but he was just a fascinating and kind of kooky guy, and I liked spending time with him. And over and over again, I'd ask him like, what's with your work? Like, tell me about your work. This is so fascinating. You seem like a kooky professor character from a movie, and like your job is to go like talk to these titans of industry, right? And tell them they can do a better job. Is it? And over again, all he said was that it was different versions of telling them to be like a good person in the way that we know how to be like good people. I think there's one level of answer to this question that is just like, I don't know, like there's the things we all know. Listen, follow through on what you say you're gonna do. Or if you can, I mean, sometimes that you can't, but like then own it, fix it. If you create a problem, fix it. Like it's the same things that we do in our personal relationships that grow and earn trust. Um, and and like just that, as much as that feels like maybe low-hanging fruit in that we all know the things, like you don't really have to read a book or or go to business school
Mm-hmm.
to know that, right? Just I don't know, like listen to people, be honest. It's like just kindergarten lessons. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it seems like low-hanging fruit, and yet I think everybody's experience, at least everybody that I've talked to, um, like lifts up the idea of how rare it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's shocking and true. So I think that's one whole level of this. And if we just got everybody to do that,
Mm-hmm. Be
ah,
good people.
oh my God. Yeah, just like the basics of it, right? Not even getting into the challenging parts, like the parts where you're carrying something from your past and then you get dysregulated and you got to figure out what that is. And like, okay, now we're into the 400 level classes. But like, we just like ignore that for a second. We just got everybody to do the 100 level, like, I don't know, follow through on your word, listen. If you
Mm-hmm.
make a problem, fix it. We'd be pretty good. And then there is this like sort of things where things get more complex and how are you working on your self-awareness and how are you developing as a person and what are the tricks of the trade that you can learn uh to develop trust. So I think about, one of the things I think about when I go into an organization is just explicitly making room to make connection right away. Try to sit down and talk with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just that act alone. Even if all you talk about is like, where are you from? What sports do you like? Just taking the act to do it is a big thing. Another thing I think about is trying to create opportunities to show that I will follow through on my word, to show that I will listen to different voices and um, fold them into decision making, and then be clear and return to those people with information. Because I mean, you don't know how decision making works. Like you're not always going to decide what everybody who gave you input wants. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
decide in alignment with what they think should happen. And it turns out like generally that's okay. For most decisions, that's okay. But it sure helps a lot for it to be okay and for the group to continue to function healthily in a healthy way to go back to them and say, I listened to you. I heard what you had to say. Here's how it got to the table and was considered. And here's why we decided something counter to it.
Mm-hmm. So it's like this active listening and then willingness to be transparent and provide
Yeah.
clarity around decision making.
Yeah. And so I like you try to like find the opportunities where you can really like early on show that that's how you work.
Mm-hmm.
I used
Mm-hmm.
to not. I used to just feel like that was a little manufactured. Um, and I just wait. I'd play the long game and be like, well, this is how I work. And so, a couple of years from now, everybody will see it. And I realized like I don't have to, like it's not actually manufactured to just to find where you can do it. You're still honestly doing it, right? You're still the work is still earnest, genuine. You're just kind of being a little strategic about well, can I find a moment to like let people know this is who I am?
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about doing it when it's easy and it's the small stuff because it pays off when it's the hard, big conversations you have to have.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
People remember. And
They do.
it definitely breeds trust. I also was thinking as I was listening to you, like it's to be a good person to others. But then when you went up to like the 400 level self work, it made me think about connection, not to others, but connection to self. And like part of trust is how you connect to yourself and like being able to uncover the layers of you and build self trust so that you project trust to others.
Yeah. I mean, I learned this was, I feel like that is the type of lesson that you learn over and over and over again for your whole life. I
Yes.
think specifically one of the things I am grateful for that I got that was specific from working with you was like a deeper sense of how much experiences that I carried from my past that where that I would end up leaving me dysregulated in a meeting, where I was right, where like I was right about what was happening and arguing for a good thing to happen, but also dysregulated, and how much that was getting in the way
Mm-hmm.
of being effective. You helped me see new levels of that. And I continue, I still, it's been a couple of years since we've worked together, and I still think back to sort of those lessons and the conversations you and I had and what you helped me see there. That was really a barrier to my own efficacy. Yeah, I carry it with me, my friend.
Talk on it, Chris. Y'all need to concentrate. We can
Yeah, I'm
go
sorry.
to the next question. So, if nothing was holding you back, what would your next chapter of leadership look and feel like? What would you do? Nothing stood in the way.
I really want to, if nothing stood in the way, I want to build a fund, like somewhere between like an angel or a private equity fund that invests in employee like radically employee owned organizations, like organizations that are like 90% employee owned and equitably employee owned, not like the executive level um gets equity participation and like nobody else does, but like across the board, employee owned, and that use employee ownership as a competitive advantage in exactly the way that we're talking about. Like, I think there is an incredible value and advantage to a group of people doing work together where they're taking care of each other and they're connected and
Mm-hmm.
it's healthy.
Love it.
And like, I dream about like, what can a group like that do? And like, I want to put some businesses out of business that don't do that. Like, I want to put some businesses that are keen strategists, but unhealthy places to work and be. Like, I want to replace them. I'm not interested in like generally putting businesses out of business. It's not really, I want more work, more businesses, more of everything. But I want to replace them with employee owned things so that because it kind of inverts the like a critical narrative of capitalism by forcing capitalism to actually do what it theoretically says it will do, and so often fails to do. Because like it's interesting when you say this to people, say, "Oh, I want to make like massive national, international level businesses that are employee owned." And they're like, "That's socialist." I'm like, "It is aggressively capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is who's the shareholder."
Mm-hmm.
But
People.
they're businesses in free markets competing successfully and winning. Like, it's pure capitalism. The only difference is where's like where it's the capital part of it. Like, where does it come from and who gets to reap the benefits?
The first thought is power to the people.
Can you imagine what it would feel like to like work for like, let's say, I don't know, what's a big like Delta Airlines, but Delta Airlines is owned by the people. It's like your crew, your flight crew.
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you're an owner of Delta. And to know that like you're just winning because you provide over and over again exceptional service. You have freer and better ideas coming to the table because like nobody's afraid, like, nobody's trying to outcompete your coworker, or nobody's afraid of bringing an idea to the table. Like, and you're winning because you're working as a team.
Mm-hmm. The collective. The
So I think it's a
collective
powerful
wisdom.
idea.
I love
So,
it. I love it.
yeah.
Last question. What do you want your leadership legacy to be?
I mean, I want to be one of those people that like the people that I've worked with and helped lift, like they feel that I've helped lift them up and make them better. And oh man,
Who was that?
I think a fly just crawled across my camera. What a weird thing to see happen. Sorry. It's summer and I live in a farmhouse and there are bugs. Uh, but like I all have those people who you've been like, oh man, they really lifted me up. They really supported me. They really championed me. They pushed my career. They pushed me to be better. I try to be one of those people. Sometimes I succeed and sometimes I don't. But more and more, I just try to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Because
be happy. I don't need to be known or famous, but for the people that I've interacted with, I'd like them to feel good about those interactions.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Chris, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing your mind with us. We're grateful for you.
So grateful for you. Thanks for inviting me to do this. This has been a joy. Let's
Yeah.
do more.
Yes, off camera, so we can say some other things.
Sounds good.
All right, leaders. I'm Dr. Tracy Simone, Queen of Clarity and Care, your go-to strategist, facilitator, and coach, helping social impact leaders and organizations get unstuck so they can get things done and build a legacy that lasts. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Friday. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
If this conversation sparked something in you, don't stop here. Watch my free on-demand masterclass, How to Lead Without Losing Yourself. It's 1 hour of clarity, strategy, and truth for leaders navigating growth, change, and complexity. Scan the QR code to start your reset.